All right, this week at Edison Motors, we head down to ConExpo in Las Vegas. We have some problems with the border, but we show you some of our suppliers and some other cool stuff we found. This is something you guys need to check out. I've been super impressed with this, but it is the Autocar trucks behind me here. We're checking them out at ConEx. I'm with Sydney from Autocar, and why don't you give us a little bit of background for people not familiar with this company?
Yeah, so Autocar's been around since 1897, and you're probably familiar with the old Autocar conventional cabs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, but in recent years, we are now privately owned, and we're getting back to our roots of severe duty vocational vehicles. We don't do any over the road. We are just heavy duty, severe duty, as we like to say, vocational applications.
Obviously, I'm a big fan of those heavy vocational things, and it's nice because, yeah, you got bought out by Volvo. Basically, they dumped your heavy duty lineup, went to nothing but pure cab overs,
Yep.
And now you guys were able to buy Volvo or buy Autocar back.
Yep.
And start the heavy vocational auto cars again. My favorite thing about this is the interior of the cab. Let's go have a look at the interior. One of my favorite things, actual air switches. That is actual air valves in the cab. It's not electric over air. It's not some kind of weird computer controlled system. The air valves are directly hooked up to the switch. So that means that in the wintertime, when it starts getting cold, the cab warms up, means your air valves warm up. The amount of times I have been logging and seen some of the new trucks that have those electric over air solenoid valves that are mounted behind the cab, they get up to where they need it, they need to go hit their lockers are frozen, they can't use their diff locks, their parking brakes are frozen on, and they can't warm those plastic valves up. They're actual valves in here. Going forward with that, because this is an actual vocational built truck, you'll notice that the entire dash is bolted in. That is a piece of steel plate there that is actually bolted on there. Everything in this is solid. It's not a highway truck cab, whereas some other manufacturers, they design their cabs, I think, mainly for the highway, then they try and repurpose them into vocational, and then all the plastic fittings start coming loose. Like, there is nothing on this thing that is loose. Every gauge in there seems to be pretty tight. Like, it's actually bolted on. The entire door panel beside me is also bolted on. Then you come into the gauges. Speaking of gauges, actual physical gauges. It's not all off a computer screen. You have a computer diagnostics screen in here, which is really, really cool. We're gonna sit down with the engineer here in a second that's gonna explain that.
Okay, so we develop our smart dash in-house. We've got a 7-inch display in the truck, and it's got really cool features. It's there for the driver because it's got all the gauges incorporated, which you can customize. You can customize which gauges you want to show. You can put different information on the display. But more importantly, it's also really cool for the technician because the display has got incorporated into it all of our fault codes. The fault codes from Cummins, from Edison, and from Webco. You can see them right there on the display. You can also clear fault codes. You can look at your inputs and your outputs, which are on, which are off. You can also drive outputs, which is really cool for fault finding. And then lastly, there's also all the schematics and even some pictures of wiring harnesses and where they're at.
It's really, really cool. It's like literally you blow a fuse, you go to the schematics, and it shows you exactly what fuse, what system that's on. You have an issue with the wiring harness, like you're just showing me. I'll just bring up a picture of the wiring harness and see where all the wires run. So it gives all the information to the people that fix it, that need it. You don't need to come back out with a laptop to a broke down truck, hook up that laptop. You can just get all that information right on your screen.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, the reason that we do this at Autocar is because we want to keep your trucks up, and we make it really easy for technicians to solve problems on the truck.
I love that. That is an ethos that I can get behind 100%. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. Coming out of a few things down here too that I wanted to show off before. More metal panels, solid. The cup holder here, you can see down between my legs, that is a steel cup holder. That cup holder is not plastic. I pulled out a cup holder, I won't say the brand name, but I went into one of their trucks, jiggled their cup holder actually fell out of the dash. Not this one, that is bolted in there. Like, it's a gravel truck. It's going to be a logging truck. It's going to be something that's going to get the shit pounded out of it. That cup holder better be sturdy. It should not fall apart because somebody just tried to pull it out at a trade show. Oh, and they've got the daylight door on the, not the daylight, whatever you call it. They got the side window on there that I've seen the other truck manufacturers get rid of that little window. Oh, I get it. They saved a little bit of money in glass. No, I can actually see that blind spot now. Here, they now have a set forward axle, which I'm a big fan of the set forward because that looks better. Personally, I still like a high hood, but it's got a very classic Autocar styling. Coming back here, they also made it easy for vocational drivers. That's my air drain right there. You can drain each air tank right there before climbing in. You don't even have to line under it, or you don't have to go and search it. So the driver is way more likely to do it if the air checks are right there. We didn't do that. Coming here, side steps. I really like the little, just these little extra attention. They put in gussets to actually hold this on there because it's designed to be an off-highway truck. It's designed to get pounded out. So your fuel tank steps here have extra welded in gussets to support this. Like, that means that you can take this thing through the bush all the time. I have had trucks before where it drove me nuts when it has the side steps mounted underneath the cab, and I've seen those broken side steps because they're meant for the highway and they don't survive the bush. That's a lot more skookum than anything I've seen so far. It was actually super nice to come and see these Autocars. I've been a big fan of Autocars for years. Autocar used to be the equivalent. BC used to have Hayes and Pacific. Those were tough trucks. American had the equivalent. It was Autocar. They were the ones focused on building those heavy vocational trucks down here. And then same thing happened to the other ones. A large mega corporation bought those guys out, and they basically shut down the tough vocational truck models. All they were left with was the cab over. It was sad to see. But now, 5 years ago, these guys bought it out. They took it back to being a privately owned company, and they kept that right to repair instinct. I love the fact that the screen was able to show all the information you needed to diagnose that truck when you had that issue. You can go through it. You can see the wiring schematics. That right to repair ethos is something that I'm a big fan, and I'll always support something like that. So just nice to see them back. Nice to see them doing the right thing. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan of Autocar now. We're checking around at the show here, and I thought this was pretty cool. It's a set of beaver tails. Instead of having hydraulics, it's all on air. So you don't need a PTO. You don't need any kind of hydraulic lines, a hydraulic tank. You just run off the air system that's already on the truck. That's so handy being all air.
Locks unlock here.
There's a couple of airbags like you have on the back of your suspension. Airs up.
And this pivots down. You're ready to go.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
And then you can, you can also store it vertically, so you can use the entire deck space.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thanks for showing us.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
really like it. This is pretty cool. We stopped by the Mesabi Rad booth. You guys know that we use the Mesabi Rad on the Emcon truck. And right here in it is a picture of our truck in their booth. I guess Theron sent them over a media package a little while ago, and you guys put the truck front and center.
Great media package.
Let me just explain that picture really quick. Mesabi reached out to me. They needed a media package so they could put that booth together. They wanted a sexy picture of our truck. So I looked through my phone, all the pictures I had, grabbed the sexiest one of Chase and the truck I could find, and that's the one they got. Not gonna tell you why I have that picture. Completely unrelated.
Worked well.
Yeah, that was a great media package.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Rad? What makes the Mesabi Rad better than a lot of other Rads out there?
Sure. We adopted some technology from World War II. The English built and designed a radiator for tanks so that when the tanks are out in the field, should they get a hole in the core or damaged, that the unit isn't stopped. What it is they're individual tubes made either of copper, aluminum or brass, depending on the application. And conventional radiators use the whole radiator as a structural member. For us, we have the frame as a structural member. And the tubes are mounted with rubber grommets at either end that allows for vibration, flexing, movement, and can also sustain impact without damaging the whole unit. So should there be damage to a tube or multiple tubes, they can be removed. The hole's plugged up with a 1/2-inch bolt or a grommet, or if you have replacement tubes with you, you can change it in the field. So the truck or the piece of equipment is only down for a short period of time.
It's brilliant. That's why I really like it. Like on our truck there,
Yep.
the radiator, we'll be able to use the whole radiator as just a front structure of the truck. We didn't need a grill. We didn't need a grill.
Right.
It's like the old LWs, the old
Oh, that's
Ks.
right.
They just
Yes.
used to use the radiator like that, and they had an
Yep.
external structure. It was
Yep.
built for off-road.
Yep.
It takes the vibration. You don't warp it, and you keep that rad.
That's
Fewer
right.
leaks, fewer issues, and when you do take rock trips, you fix it.
That's it. It works well and purposely designed for heavy-duty applications. So if it's an on-highway vehicle, we are overkill to the max. So for off-highway heavy haulage, that's where we come in.
That's what I like. It's a purpose-built heavy haul truck. It's
Yes,
a
it is.
purpose-built vocational truck. It's not a highway truck radiator
Right.
they're trying to make work.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Super.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time.
Appreciate
It's
it.
really cool to see that.
Yeah, likewise.
So one of the things about excavators is that when you park them, you normally put your bucket all the way down on the ground. That way, if you have a hydraulic leak, the bucket can't come crashing down on anything. This is really important. Unless you are at a trade show with thousands of people standing under your bucket, then just leave that thing in the air. Okay, this thing's actually pretty cool. The way that Sennebogen there lifts up, the whole cab lifts up hydraulically so you can get a higher view. It's kind of like the forestry log loader cab, but way more complicated. That's how you know it is German. This thing behind me is pretty cool. This is a hybrid diesel-electric, basically Jobsite side-by-side. So it's got dual electric motors on the front axle, so electric axles, little electric battery, and then when the batteries get low, a generator fires up, recharges the battery so you can keep running around. But honestly, I think that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. So we call this, the nickname is the cockroach or the roach because it's hard to kill. So that was our starting point. If something's going to break, we're going to try to design it out of the product or at least make it easy to get to. So Morey is a 90-year-old company. We're based in Chicago. We'll be building this in Michigan because of the sort of automotive presence there. You can see in the interior, it's very clean and simple. There's no nooks and crannies, easy to wash out. You know, we wanted this open space, and even the dash is very straightforward. You see a lot of this Molly panel here. You know, there's a million companies that make a million accessories, and you can kind of outfit it per your needs. And then
That makes sense, actually, on the dash. You
Yeah.
can literally just strap whatever you need to
yeah,
onto
cup
it.
holders, phone holders. There are cup holders in here, but kind of overbuilt switches like that. See, there's suicide doors.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But even things like, instead of having the window glass retreat into the door panel, you know, you got a switch, you got motors, you know, you got to run power into the door. Though, why not just do these simple sliders like you see on, you know, RVs all the time?
We did that on a couple of our trucks. It was
Yeah.
simple, it was
Yeah.
easy, it worked.
Yeah, so it has heat and AC, and it's a sort of camper van style mounted on the roof.
What size motors you running?
Those are 5 kilowatts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and we'll probably have about 18 kilowatts of battery. We're still in prototype phase, and we'll be doing field testing this summer, but
I think those are the same motors we run 5 kilowatts on our little go-karts we make.
yeah. So and then back here, this is where the range extender generator will live. Kind of in the doghouse here, lockable storage.
So you got a little diesel in there? Got a little gas?
Yeah, it could be either one. So we have one right now that's a dual fuel. So, but you could put propane in there too and run it indoors if you needed to. But the bed is not going to dump. Another thing that can break, another thing that frankly isn't used all that often on job sites. So
No.
we see that they're mostly filled with lunch coolers and toolboxes and less about hauling dirt and stone. And then, you know, of course, airless tires. These are the Michelin wheels, 32 inches. The custom hub design there with a lockable feature there. So make it difficult for anyone to steal your expensive wheels. So
Well, this is a cool little tough design.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks for showing us. And yeah, check this thing out. I hope to see a lot more of these out on the road, out on the job site. I am here with Derek from Evolution Wheel. I have been following you on TikTok for a while now, and you got some cool tires. So why don't you walk us through what do we got here? What makes this unique?
Appreciate that. Yeah, so this is actually our wheel loader tire, 20.5, 25, all-terrain version, but this is fairly new. It's only been out for about maybe 6 months. You can put it on pretty much any GP machine because we kept the weight down. You can also go super fast with it. fourth gear, full out, no problem on a loader. So trying to solve some flat tire issues.
That's pretty cool. And the whole thing's just bolt on, rather than getting the tire bars out and getting in there. You just impact rattle these on, and then if you did happen to blow a whole section or take a section out on a big rock, you can change that one section, but I guess you've got them to the point now they're not really wearing out that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because we always say the operator can fix it themselves, but then the mechanic chimes on social media and says, good luck getting an operator to do that. But we build them so that they don't have to be repaired. For the most part, what happens is customers wear them out, and then they just come back to us for new rubber. They can replace it themselves right on the job site.
Honestly, kind of cool. Kind of cool to see this idea from a Canadian company and meet you down here. And I highly recommend you guys got to go check out their social media. They've got some cool videos of these tires in action and how they work and all that. And just, yeah.
Appreciate that. I had no idea that we were both TikTok stalking each other.
You bet. We're checking out this loader and haul truck, and believe it or not, this is the smallest mining stuff. So if you've got a really, really tiny mine, these are the small ones that you can buy. So here at Komatsu, and they got the demolition spec excavator. It's got the big grapple on it, like remember what Local brought out to our site for the thing. And I asked them, like, how come they don't have the high cab? That high cab of our log loader was coming in so handy on that demolition project. It's because of the ROP certification of the cab, apparently. Apparently, until you go to at least 60 tons, you can't actually get the high cab in the demolition machine just due to that ROPS protection. But forestry machines can have the high cabs and get certified. So guess that's the difference. This is pretty cool. This is a Komatsu for your kids. So basically, you got a young kid, you bring them out on them and let them play around in the big sand pit. I know, like, when I was a kid, I would love to have something like this. It's like, man, rather than like a dirt bike, a little mini bike, get one of these for them. I'm here at the Moog booth, and they got some cool examples of basically hydraulic parts for electric vehicles. Now, people are always asking us, because we're building things like gravel trucks, cement mixers, things that use hydraulic accessories, how are we going to power all those things? Now, traditionally how we've done it is things like what they got over there, where it's an electric hydraulic pump. So we just basically put in an electric hydraulic pump, you got a hydraulic tank, you got the hydraulic lines, and then you have normal hydraulic cylinders. These are some of the new ones here that I really like, because over here you have one giant hydraulic cylinder. So can you imagine on a gravel truck, you put a hydraulic actuator here that lifts that gravel bed up. Now you don't need to have the hydraulic tank, you don't need to have the hydraulic pump, you don't need to have hydraulic lines, you don't need to have hydraulic fluid that can leak out, it can spill. And in a gravel truck, if you blow a hydraulic line, that gravel box is coming down hard. With this one, even if you had, say, ripped out all your high voltage lines, it will hold it due to the electric motor, and then when you hit it, it will gradually lower it using the natural regenerative power of the motor. So if you have an issue, that gravel box can come down nice and safely. So, man, it sure saves a lot of complexity. On some of our truck builds, we have had issues with, man, we've already got fuel tanks, we've already got batteries, now I got to fit a hydraulic pump and a hydraulic tank and then run the lines. I got high voltage and air lines in the frame rail. Now I got to put hydraulic lines in there too. This sure saves a heck of a lot of space. It's safer, it's more efficient, it reduces fuel on site. I really like this thing. We're here at QCC Canada. These guys are local out of BC, but they do the undercarriages for basically the Tiger Cat equipment. Notice here, remember we were talking about like the skookumness of forestry equipment and how it's just built a little bit bigger? These are the tracks that you run on a Tiger Cat. When you compare it to the construction, to the heavy Tiger Cat, it's one even above our Cat log loader. And then what's cool is that I didn't know it, but these guys also do the Nordic tire chains. I've ran Nordic tire chains before. Those are your heavy logging chains, skidder chains. So the same company that does the undercarriages on the Tiger Cat, their buncher and all that, also make the tire chains for the skidders and the tire chains for the logging truck. So this is basically the piece. If you are in the forestry industry and you need traction, this is the company. Kind of cool that's in BC. Check this thing out. This is the Prinoth, basically Mulcher. But I've never seen something like this. This thing is mean. This thing is so up armored, full on Lexan. The amount of steel, like I don't know much about it. I don't think there's much to say. It's just that it's a big old mulcher. I've just never seen a mulcher that looks like this before. I really like it. I think it looks cool and I wanted to show you. These are the old Bombardier track tug dump trucks. These things are pretty sweet. Looks like it tilts or articulates, spins around 360 degrees. So if you need a dump truck that is incredibly off-road capable, this thing's pretty sweet. And honestly, some of my favorite excavators I've seen at this show are the Sunward. Now, there's been a lot of really, really nice equipment at this show, and it's really fancy. And they set up all these booths to show you how fancy their machines are, how all of their electronic, their sensors, their everything on it. This don't have any of that. That's why I like it. This is basically what a Cat or a John Deere was 30 years ago. That's what at least the salesman's saying, and I believe them because I've gone through it, had a look. Like right here, these controls, hydraulic over hydraulic. They're not CAN bus. The actual hydraulic lines run up to it. This goes actually to your valve assembly with a physical linkage. It's just simple. The only electronic on this thing is on the engine, and then that's about it. That's what I want. Like, I just want a thing that I can fix. It's simple. I don't want a million different CAN bus wires all over the whole thing that needs another dealer because you have a little sensor down here connected to a wire, and then it starts throwing beeping and yelling at you by the time it starts getting corroded. Just make it simple and make it work. And I like that ethos on this. I got Colton here. He's not a salesman. He just flagged me down walking to show me this stuff. But like, you're showing me, walk me through here.
Yes.
So what are we looking at?
What I was looking here is, this is just a regular mechanical fuel pump, and you've got a shut off. That's basically the only wire you see back here. It's all timed like you see on a 19
like that
older
90s.
trucks. I mean, yeah, you just
one little wire and then a mechanical fuel pump, and then on the front on our valve assembly, you can see like how simple that valve assembly is here.
yeah.
There, and if you come around and have a look at it, for probably from this way,
You've got all your pilot control hoses that control the valve body here. No electronics. It's just pulse in, pulse out, right?
this literally looks like our old like 2001 Hitachi crane excavator. It's just simple.
As far as electronics go, what I can find is just these two. This is probably for the thumb circuit or something like that, just a button on the inside. But I mean, like,
Yeah, there's like no electronics on this thing under there.
how do you beat this thing for simplicity? Like, you could probably start this and run it just like you could a 1990 to a 2000s Cat 303
Yeah, no,
for years,
Yeah.
right?
Have a look at one of the other ones. Look how many wires are on this thing. Like opening the back, it's just nothing but wires on this. I don't like. Why? The more wires you put on it, we got sensors all over the roof. We got sensors up there. We got backup cameras. We got all of these extra little features that they're showing off, but it just results in so many wires on the back end. To me, this is the most impressive booth, just taking it back to the simplicity. Instead of showing me a bunch of complicated things, they're showing us stuff that just works and is easy to fix. I'm here in the ZF booth. Now, we use ZF for a few things like their TRW steering assemblies, but this thing really caught my eye. This is a 150-ton rated transmission. So this is vehicles that go up to 150 tons. So one of those things is like, I would love to do something like those old Pacific P16 Hayes HDXs off-highway logging trucks, or them big tandem steer, big bed trucks with the 90,000-pound planetaries. Problem is, nobody really makes an E-axle for 90,000-pound planetaries. But this, you've got two electric motors. Into this, you got a rear one to your drives. You also have a front one, so you could run full four-wheel drive, 6x6, 8x8, 90,000 pound. And it also has PTO options for output. So if we ever wanted to, which I really do, want to get into the bigger, heavy, 100% off highway, I really like this. It's a 6-speed transmission, 6 forward, 3 reverse gears. I'm tempted. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you think Edison should build a big old P16 off-highway monster. I like it. One of the suppliers we are currently exploring working with is Parker. We have one customer that specifically wants Parker on all their stuff. They've got things like machine control units, electric motors, electric hydraulic pumps, high voltage equipment, PTOs. So far, really impressed with their stuff and hoping that turns into a relationship between Parker, that specific customer, and us going forward. We are here in the Eaton booth right now. Obviously, you guys know we use the Eaton 18-speed transmission, but we also use another Eaton product. That's the MVEC. I figure you all know about the 18-speed. We don't have to go into that too much, but let's really go into this and what makes this really cool. So I'm here at Darren. Darren?
Yes.
Why do we use the MVEC, and why should we use that one?
Good question. So these are both multiplexed control modules, essentially. The VEC stands for Vehicle Electrical Center. It's basically a fuse and relay panel Multiplex means it communicates over a CAN network, which is a communication protocol used in the automotive world and even in off-highway commercial trucks and vehicles. So not only is it power distribution and circuit protection, it gives you the ability to communicate over that network. So you have some diagnostic capabilities. If you blow a fuse or a relay, it will tell you exactly which one it is. And multiplex means you can have multiple devices on that network that all communicate with each other. Now, the difference between these two, the VEC is a surface mount box. So your cables come into the side. The RFRM is through mount or rear mount. So you can actually mount this on a panel and your cables and connectors come in from behind. That's the main difference between these two.
Yeah, so when we put all of these MVECs on the firewall, we had to run the wires through the firewall back out to it. Whereas if we had the Rimmerfirmum one, we would be able to just mount that and plug the wires and not have to pass through. So this is one of those cool things about coming down to the trade show, talk with the suppliers, seeing their display, and you realize that they have a product that actually works even better for you. But I really like this. It is CAN bus network, but it is one of those things that gives a lot more information. It's actually improving the ability to service and fix those trucks, because if you remember when we were down to the Autocar booth, we saw their system where they could swipe through. When they had a fuse go, it would actually light it up on the dash, tell you exactly what fuse went, what system it controls, what size fuse it is, and where you could find that fuse to replace it. And then it would bring up the information on the wiring harness and schematics related to that thing. So it gives just a ton of information for repairability and service on these, and really impressed with how they've been performing so far on the previous trucks we built. I'm here in the Horton booth right now. Obviously we use Horton for the fan clutches, fan assemblies, and why did we go with Horton?
Well, we've been around since '51. We're the leader in cooling system solutions for on-highway and off-highway equipment. We've got the largest breadth of product in the industry and top-notch customer service and quality. So yeah, we sell to pretty much all of the major truck OEMs and over 200 off-highway OEMs across all industries. On-highway truck, this is a big fan for mining. We also have a bunch of variable speed products for generator sets, ag, construction. So pretty much all industries except automotive. We try to stay out of that, I guess, but.
Yeah, so this is basically, it's another one that's like Cummins. It needs no introduction. They've been around for 50 some odd years. They're probably the best in the business.
Yes, well, we like to think so. And yeah, we appreciate all your comments and appreciate you being a customer, and thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate the good fan assemblies too. Thank you very much.
All right.
So I am here with John from MCS, and these guys do our throttle pedals here. John, why do we use MCS?
So MCS is a very niche company. We're specialized into throttle control products like throttle pedals and hand throttles. What sets us above our competition is our conformance to ISO 26262 ASIL-C for functional safety. You want to have a safe, reliable throttle pedal for your application. It's a critical component, and you want to keep your application safe.
That's 100% the reason. What I really like is, like, yeah, they just specialize in throttle pedals. They do one thing and they do it very well. It meets all the compliance, meets our CMVSS requirements. And what I also really like about it is that the quality's there too, which it would have to be if you're only doing one. That's a metal pedal. It kind of reminds me of those old school Kenworth pedals. It's just a solid steel pedal. She's tough, she's well built. It's a good product to go with. I am here with Amy from Donaldson. As you guys know, we use the Donaldson ERP air breathers in our semi-truck, but Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about Donaldson and why we go with your filters?
Yeah, absolutely. So Donaldson has actually been in the business for over 100 years. You guys might not know this, Chase, you might not know this, but we are actually the ones who invented the air filter. So we kind of nailed it down to a science. And actually 8 of the top 10 heavy duty manufacturers choose Donaldson as their first fit. We're heavy in the trucking space, the transportation. We're also in construction, ag, oil, mining, gas. We're pretty much everywhere with it.
That's right. And now that Edison uses it, 100% of Canadian truck OEMs use Donaldson.
Yes, we love that.
Cat's got their D8XE. You guys know we've been playing around with the D6XE. Apparently now these hybrid electric dozers have over 18 million operating hours on them, and I've heard nothing but good things. The one we ran was fantastic, so it's cool to see the D8XE here. This machine here can lift 70,000 pounds. And remember, how the manufacturer recommends is letting people walk over these kind of suspended loads. I'm getting out of this.
That's cool though, that Trackzilla.
Oh, that thing is sweet. Also another suspended load above us, but doesn't matter about the hard hats. Let's focus on how cool this thing is. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this Trackzilla is kind of putting the crane excavator to shame. This is like the crane excavator on steroids. Jesus. Apparently it lifts 50,000 pounds, but that's not what's impressive to me. Apparently it has a 4.5 liter Cummins that makes 645 horsepower. I don't know what 4 liter engine diesel is putting out 650 horsepower, but I want it. Okay, apparently the marketing guy got the sign wrong. We have been informed that yes, that is not a 4 liter engine making 650 horsepower. It's a Cummins X15, which is, yeah. We just found out from the salesman that this machine here can lift a 15,000 pound mezzanine 10 stories in the air. And that is why it has tracks, which makes sense, because when you've got something 10 stories in the air or something that heavy and you've got to turn, rubber tires start flexing and start chattering, whereas a track gives you smooth ability to maneuver with that much weight that high. They ended up having to go with tracks, and like, this is impressive. Apparently this is the world's largest zoom boom. He did confirm that. Talking to the folks at Tadano, they got their electric crane here, the E-Volt, and honestly, crane is one of those applications that makes a lot of sense for electric. You think about it, you could have a job where you're sitting there like a wirelining job where you're just sitting there for hours and hours, days and days, just holding one thing, or you might move a little bit here and there. But we've heard from some people that the idle hours are killing them on the motors. You have say an X15 Cummins and it's sitting there. You need that big power to move that crane truck down the road. You need the big power to be able to lift a little bit. But a lot of the times you're sitting there, you're waiting for the job, you're doing smaller movements, and that X15 ends up idling. We've talked to some guys, they've got 7,000 hours on their Cummins. Only 7,000, they're having to do full rebuilds on those just because they sit there idling all day, wash themselves out. Whereas if you have electric, you have the power on demand, you have the instant ability to lift things up, but you're also not idling things all day long just to run a cab air conditioner and just to run a hydraulic pump at idle. I think this application makes a whole lot of sense, and we've been seeing a lot of people asking about it. And just talking with Tadano, apparently they already have an electric setup in the 50-ton body-mounted truck-mounted size. They can mount onto a truck, plug into, ready to go, and that's actually pretty sweet that they have one ready to go. This is one of the most unique dozers I think I have ever seen in my life. This is the new Lugong, and the visibility on this thing is like no dozer I have ever seen before. It's got a super sloped nose. It's sloped on the back. Let's walk around, let's go have a look at this thing. So on the back here, you'll notice that this rad is mounted sideways. It's rear radiator mounted, and you access it up through the rear. Instead of climbing up through the front, you go up these stairs on the rear. You kind of ride with your feet in a real reclined position here. Like you're almost like sitting in a recliner. But man, there's just visibility for days. Here, I'm gonna grab the camera here and I'm gonna show you what it looks like from the inside of this Lugong. Have a look at that. That is all blade. And if I want to spin around here, have a look out the back. When have you ever seen visibility like that out of a machine? This is probably the most visible dozer I have ever been in. Right there.
That's right.
I was filming your crotch, I think.
That's right.
So I decided to stop by and check out the HubGuard booth here, and Dustin, what does this thing do?
They are a 3/16 steel plate that goes over your hubcap, keeps you from breaking out the windows on your tag axles, trailer axles, steer axles. Leave 2 of your bolts in so you don't even have to drain the oil.
You literally can get in there, clean the gas, check things out. You know how many times I have busted, probably 10 years of trucking, I have blown out 4 or 5 of these, and it is a pain. Either you're loading and a stick hits it, something rolls off the bank and hits it, or you're down in the deep mud and you get her buried and you blow out that little piece of glass. I've seen other guys try and check it, put a solid plate over it, but then you can't check your hub oil, and that's dangerous. And it's a pain, because if you blow out your glass, then you get a bunch of mud and all that in the bearings you got to clean out. And where'd you come up with this idea?
I got tired of fixing myself on side dumps. Had job after job after job, sending guys out to fix them. I got tired of it, and I'm just a small company based out of Utah.
I really like it. I like seeing cool ideas like that. It's simple, it saves a lot of downtime, and they're gonna give us out a couple to try out. So he gave us a couple of these to try, actually real nice of them, and we'll put them on the truck and I'll let you know how they do in the real world. Vegas is nice and everything. Always great to see the people here, but oh, it's getting too expensive for me. Like, I don't know if we'll honestly come back to Vegas. I'm too broke to take this thing. Like, you look at the Ubers, they're $100. We end up taking the bus everywhere because the Ubers are too expensive. You got beers here, $17 for a beer. That's $25 Canadian for a draft beer. Vegas is just getting so expensive that I honestly just don't even want to come back. It's just a money pit. Okay, that is the end of the show. That was a very busy 5 days. I want to thank everybody that stopped by our booth, came and said hi. It was so great talking with all you guys, really nerding out about trucks. Met a lot of our suppliers. We've seen some really cool technology, but that was a long week. Between the drive down here, the 5 days here, I think we're all tired. And now we get to go do the 26-hour drive back north once we finish loading all this up. Yay.